Hi guys, it's Sarah with Grassroots Evolution Tarot, and I'm here to bring you a postcard from Spirit for May 2023. Guys, keep in mind it's general, so take what you feel resonates for you. Disregard the rest. Go about your day, and know that no matter what Spirit comes through with, it's still up to you, your active free will, the choices you make, and the steps you take in your world to get whatever fulfillment it is you'd like to see. To me, this is personal freedom, it's personal power, and it lies at the tips of your fingers and not the soles of your feet, my friends. So use this power to do wisely. Spirit's already coming through, like as I was trying to say that. They were like, shh, and push through your boundaries is basically what I'm hearing here. Okay, push through your boundaries, my friends. I was really like, before I started this, and then I shuffled after, but for my own cards, was pushing through my boundaries and like just seeing the bigger picture, and it resonated so much. But it's funny that even as I was doing this, Spirit's like, hey, push through your boundaries, right? Pushing through those insecurities, that's what it was. Pushing through the insecurities. So there could be something this month that you want to do, you've been thinking about doing for a while, right? May, it's spring. We're starting to get into that summer energy in the northern hemisphere, right? So it's warm, and I feel like for some of you, something's about to blossom, or whatever you've been working on, something you've wanted to achieve for a while, it's about to blossom, okay? So push past the insecurities. We have insecurities. All of us are going to have insecurities about things. But I want you guys to believe enough in yourself to push past those and move forward. So what I have before I get into cards is I have this Buddha's Little Instruction Book by Jack Kornfield. And I was just going to open up a page and see wherever Spirit leads us, okay? And see what the message is here today, as well as I have the postcard from Spirit Oracle with a bunch of other oracles, and I have the Shadowscapes Tarot here. So I just want to like play with some cards with you guys and see what we get. So, my friends, I'm just going to take a moment to call on Archangel Michael, Archangel Metatron, my team of light, any of your spirit guides that would be here for the entire collective to join us. If they're here for our highest good, I ask them I ask these guys to guide, guard, bless, and protect myself this reading, and any of you who would ask for it. I ask for peace and blessings to all of those on the planet at this time as well. And I ask them to use me as the clearest channel possible to give me and deliver messages that are in the clearest form, but only again for the highest possible good of all of you guys. Okay, so first off, let's see what we get here. So, this is what I'm being guided to read. I'll read this one second. But I got, we interbreathe with the rainforests. We drink from the oceans. They are part of our own body. For some of you, maybe being really, really pushed and called. For some of you, heard join Greenpeace, right? Or that could have been something you wanted, like, but it's to really get behind the environmental agenda. And one thing you can do, and is honestly, through your own practices, right? What can you do for your own practices? And, maybe getting involved with an organization. For one example, I'm going to use prime example with this, is in the township I live in, they were going to spray glyphosate, which is basically Roundup, and the town or the township petitioned, and enough people called in and said, hey, this isn't good. And I myself did too, because I was like, this is getting into our drinking water, this is getting into surface, you're spraying that so that you don't, so there's not as many weeds on the road, sure, but that's getting into runoff, that's getting into our water systems, we're drinking that, we're poisoning ourselves, right? So I know there's a lot of people feel differently about that situation than I do, but we no longer have it sprayed. And it's funny the amount of wildflowers along the road now. I know that it's new, different jobs to have to go and to cut it, but it's a whole lot better for the environment, right? So this could be just knowing that your small action can contribute to major and larger change in the larger world around you. So don't underestimate your ability to create that change and what it really means. I started my channel with Grassroots Evolution Tarot because Grassroots is, we're starting with what we have right here, right now. And we're going to work together. I know I just noticed that was a little crooked, and that's okay, because you know what? Sometimes we need to look at things just a little bit differently to see the bigger picture. So the other side of this says, forgiveness is primarily for our own sake, so that we no longer carry the burden of resentment. But to forgive does not mean we will allow injustice again. This is really important as well. I feel like with this part, with how we're absorbing what we drink and what we eat, that's the energy as well. That if we know something, we're going to forgive a situation or a person But we can't allow ourselves to continually be traumatized or informed, or just, we can't allow ourselves to be in a position where we are in contact with this kind of stuff all the time and expect ourselves to thrive, because it's the same thing. It's like osmosis. It's going to be really important for you guys to shield as well. So there's a past life tie here I want to get into before I hit that card. Spirits, I'm just going where Spirit's getting me, but we have Greco-Roman, and then what was not shown is spouse. So for some of you guys, they want this. There's this card, I don't know. Wars and battles, and medicine, woman or man. For some of you guys, this is going to be very important when it comes to healing relationship wounds. And it could even be like whoever this person is, like you guys could be, really trying to heal the partnership at this time. And it's something from this period, okay? Could even be biblical as well. So let's see. Before, I just had to pull those, but we do have wars and battles, right? And this isn't even necessarily that you guys are fighting. It could even just be that there's been displacement. For some people, wars have displaced and separated families, and, it's not, wasn't unheard of, right? In certain times, wars that not everybody makes it home, right? So there could be a lot of healing that needs to be happening here, depending on how this is. It could even be like, for some of you guys, what I heard is it may literally be like wars and battles from this time, but you guys were on opposing sides, right? So there could be some past life kind of karma that is holding you back that you don't even know. So here's what I heard is really clear lines of communication and smoke. In terms of smudge, man, this could be Palo Santo, this could be burning sage. I definitely love sage. But just allowing this to remember, you might want to get a dream catcher, but to remember here as well that this is going to filter, right? So when you smudge with smoke, you can really help filter out as well any of the negative energy that's still residual kind of around you or your spouse in the house. Like, get your spouse on board with this, but if they aren't, doesn't mean you can't smudge your house and kind of clear the energy. Open up the window, ask for all this stuff that's inauthentic or negative around you, any attachments, anything that is not for your highest good, ask that to leave, to be transmuted out into the world with love through a window. And honestly, just this is you filtering. So this is also about your dreams as well, but this is also to me about your thoughts, right? This is filtering our words. If we know that we can speak in one way to get our point across, and we can speak in another way to get our point across, but one way is very, very cold, it's very, very short, it's very, very, they're saying curt, okay? It's just not a nice, pleasant experience to have the conversation. Or we can say it in another way. They said that's open, loving, and vulnerable, and that feels safe, right? One feels not safe and one feels safe. And we want to work on filtering a way that we can make sure our interactions are safe, that our interactions are done with love. And I mean, it's not that you're not going to fight sometimes, but it is really important on how we fight, right? It's just for somebody. All right. So the postcard from Spirit says, Dearest you, the first one we have here is be fearless. Dearest you, sometimes it is wonderful to give, but there are times you might find yourself overgiving. Now might be a good time to check in and see where you might be cutting off the flow of abundance. Let others give to you, even if you are more comfortable being generous and being the giver, the healer, and the rescuer. In the art of living, we sometimes overlook an important skill, receiving gracefully and with gratitude. Without diminishing yourself or trying to deny vulnerability or bringing an agenda of equality to it. Receiving is hard for some people, maybe you, but you do not need add this for that in exchange with others. You are doing good in the world. Let the world give back and support you. Then you can give up the old stories that have you convinced you have to do everything alone with no help. Let your well be filled. We all love you so much. What I also heard is, in terms of this, is really opening up to your needs. as well. Like, for some people as well, like, we may need our spouse, even I'm just hearing like around the house, right, to pick up some slack for us or do something for us. Or we may feel like we're drowning in chores, okay? Some, like, just responsibilities. And we may see they're giving me an example, okay? We may see our spouse doing something relaxing and we're like, what the fuck, man? Like, I don't get to. And here's where, instead of being in that mindset, we need to kind of openly communicate, hey, I'm feeling really overwhelmed right now. I could really, like, could you help me? Could you take over some of the things I've been doing, right? And I think that in that itself, it's that kind of way that we can speak and be open and vulnerable and communicate is going to stop a lot of these wars and battles, right? They just don't need to happen. So Spirit, one more please, postcard from Spirit. Let's see what we have. And this one is a cherub. It looks like with bow and arrow, could be Cupid. Got a rose here, and it says, you are loved. Dearest you, we are here on the other side. We on the other side have one important thing to declare. Love is the answer to literally everything. We don't necessarily mean romantic or erotic, although they are wonderful, but something above and beyond that. Everything alive in the world was first created by love. Spirit sends love to animate life and birth it into existence. Love is without conditions, and it is based in reverence and a fierce and a joyful respect for life. Love thrives when you focus on it, and we want you to turn away from anything that causes it to wane. Love is when you no longer see yourself as other, separate from, better or less than, etc. When we act as love, you give permission to the world to thrive and grow as it will. Can you let go of what is not love and ask, what would love do? Love is waiting for you, always and forever. We just adore you over here. What would love do? It's a pretty good question. For some of you, I heard, like, it's that moment of, some of us may question that because people experience love in different ways. Some people, I'm just saying what I'm getting now, okay? Some people may feel like they've never truly experienced love like that because their love life may really have been a lot of wars and battles. What I heard is, and kind of channeling here a little bit, is that, what's the bottom? Leave the past behind. Some of us have been very scarred in the past. Some of us have, I heard, have kind of become a little jaded or have been so used to a this for that kind of exchange rate system within a relationship where it may even be with a lot of things, could be really deep core wounding as well. That it's very difficult for us to receive. The thing with this is, too, with this communication, there's a massive barrier. If we aren't able to open up and be vulnerable with our partners, we can't possibly grow. And this is supposed to be your most intimate person. So I do feel like for some of us, it's just like maybe we didn't have a very healthy modeled relationship or relationships. Like our parents or parental units is what I heard, okay? Like, the people who raised us may not have had even the best marital relationships. They may not have, what I heard is, shown a lot of affection. They may not have been very loving with each other. There may not have been a lot of very nice communication or that communication at all. And you might have witnessed a lot of wars and battles and felt like, well, this is what love's supposed to be. But there's something here about, like, trauma bonding. Definitely, and what I want to say is, too, like, if we've had trauma bonding in the way that this fight's constant back and forth, it gets to be almost a need for drama. I also heard attachment. Spirits like wanting to take my breath away. But what I heard is sometimes as well, what this can create a situation where it's almost a fear to lose someone. Because if we get in this, it's a definitely emotional manipulation tactic too. Um, what I heard is some people will test you as well to see if you're going to work well, right? Like throw a curveball at you, threaten to leave. This could be a lot of people if you've broke like this, the constant back and forth, like make up, break up, make up, break up, and it's the constantly nothing's ever changing. But there's a lot of drama, there's a lot of anxiety, there's a lot of fear, there's just a lot of, it's not good energy to be in this place. And I feel like one of the things that keeps us going here is trauma bonding, right? Somebody being afraid to either be on their own, having their voice heard, and then losing this person. And there's some things too, is like if your truth is going to drive someone who you love and loves you away from you, that does not mean that we suppress it. If our truth tears us apart, it's going to eat you from the inside out anyway, if you don't say it. And it may just be a really big important time where true colors are shown. And it sucks if there needs to be a parting of ways, okay? And this is, but if there does, if a parting of ways is what needs to happen, then this is also allowing that part in yourself to heal this. As you know, it is okay to be alone. This person and this relationship, it doesn't define me. And that this is not what love is. Because back to that question, and I know I kind of went off on a tangent, but back to that question, what would love do? Well, love is not a trauma bond. Because a trauma bond, especially for some people, this is intentional. People, not everyone in the world is good. And as much as we want to see at the best in every person, every situation, sometimes, especially if we've witnessed this now over and over again, sometimes we really need to see, that actions speak louder than words for whoever this is. And by that I mean, like, this is what changes are being made, okay? Okay, so Spirit really wants you to remember what would love do. And again, I want you to, and throughout your situations, just a little homework with me. If you are engaged in a kind of tumultuous relationship, I want you to just kind of, every time something gets to you, ask yourself what you can even journal this, okay, what was it, what triggered me, what happened. I want you to also think, like, was this rational, was this logical, whatever drama that happened, was it being done by another person to, what I heard is like skirt around accountability? Did they not want to say something? Like, when is the drama happening? Is it because you're asking questions that they don't want to answer and that things are being spun around? Because it's like, I'm taking my breath again. We're getting into the meat and gravy now, okay? So it's getting juicy for whoever this is for. Spirit, can you tell me a little bit of advice? Thank you. You got Death card here, which, I mean, for some of you this could be Scorpio. For some of you this is an ending, okay? For some of you this is an ending. Because I do feel like the more and more you look at situations and ask yourself, like, what would love do? For some of you, you're going to look at your relationships with the people around you and go, you're not treating me with love. And my suggestion before you just snippety snip and walk away is to discuss this, to have an open communication. And if that can't happen and no changes are made, and I don't just mean for like a week or two, consistent changes, it takes time, but both of you need to kind of be willing to open to hearing each other out and really working towards goals. But the thing is, this is a phoenix, because after this, there is a rising. For some of you, this is dark night of the soul. And they are taken down to ashes, but reborn into something new and magnificent. Whatever is being let go of, whatever is being released, what I heard is some of this, it's at a hold on you. And I remember years, like, okay, so the situation I want to talk about, sometimes people as well, what I mean is this may have had a hold on you. Sometimes we want to see within a relationship that certain people weren't, like, we dated back, like, we had a lot of maybe not nice relationships, and we're looking at the people and finding fault in them. They were lessons, but it was what we're attracting. There's tends to be a common denominator here, right? Whereas we can look at those people and we could even place all the blame for all the bad that's happened on them, but if we don't look at them ourselves and try and acknowledge what it was that attracted us to that situation, how are we going to possibly stop it the next time? Because we might not be looking towards any red flags, that if you look back at some of these other situations, you can see it. Sorry, I jumped. I thought my phone was ringing. It was a bird out there. But, you definitely are, I heard unmasking, but for some of us, really is that freedom when it's gone. I heard Seth Rollins, if any of you guys don't watch wrestling, Seth freaking Rollins, I heard his Burn It Down song. It just was like, burn it down, because this is kind of like, if there is a place, and I'm not saying literally, this is metaphorically, but if there's something going on, like, why resist the healing, is what I heard. Like, why stop? If healing needs to happen, we're just kind of carrying this wound. So you remember when, like, this book talks about forgiveness? Yes, I will forgive you, but I can't keep letting you do this to me again, right? Which is this whole, again, trauma bond. And that process as well, depending on the deep, it is very, very toxic, it's very, very abusive, and it's something that really fucks with your nervous system. And, for some of you, I want, if it does really fuck with your nervous system, check out narcissistic abuse syndrome. Some of us, whether we know it or not, it going through this kind of stuff, it really does mess you a little bit. It changes your brain chemistry, can do a lot of things, and this is where it's like, screw that noise, right? We're not gonna let, pardon my language, but that motherfucker or those motherfuckers get in the way of our healing, because if, again, we're putting all the blame and we're putting all the onus over there and we're never looking at what needs to change, we're going to keep bringing in more motherfuckers. And we don't want to do that, because each time we bring in another of these MFers, we're a little more damaged each time. So we really just need to let it all go. And to me, this, as I'm saying this more and more, I feel lighter and lighter and lighter. So if there's a situation like it was talking about at the beginning where, you just need to let go of the self-confidence or consciousness, not self-confidence. Get the self-confidence. Let go of those insecurities and push forward, because you're supported here. This Death card is, nobody stays the same forever. And those that do are stuck. There is parts of us that will always be, right? Our personalities and whatnot. But then there's the part of us as well that we grow and we evolve and we change. And there's no shame in having a past, as well as what I'm hearing. So, thank you. They want me, so this is the Healing with Angels Oracle, to show you power, that you have it. And it comes from your mouth, my friends. And you see all the storms brewing behind her. Your words have power. There is smoke here as well. They have the power to cleanse. They have the power, what I heard is also set the stage for your new beginnings, balance, spiritual growth, and blessings. Bottom of the decks, dreams. Pay attention to your dreams. I do feel like there is a lot. Oh, there's another card. What I also heard is first twofold. One, there is definite communication with spirit through your dreams, but also I heard warfare for some of you, for some of you as well. If you know someone's angry at you and you have a dream about them, this really is like their psychic energy. It's a projection, so it is going to be really important for you to set energetic boundaries as well. That shit can't come in. And we have children here as well. And I really it's so important to realize how big of a blessing your children are in this world, Because when you think about yourself and your mission and what you've come to realize through this dark night of the soul, and who Spirit's showing you this is the way, right? Think about Mandalorian, this is the way. This is the way. Helmet or no helmet, this is the way. Spirit's like, they don't want you to keep the mask on, though, right? They want you to stay strong, stay connected with them. Your connection to the divine and your faith is going to bring you into alignment with your, what I heard is spiritual birthright. But you also, what I heard, okay, is you are anointed. Many of you going through this, it's because, I'm just going to say it, it's because we're God's chosen ones on this earth to bring about profound change in the world. And I feel like this darkening to the soul, as well as we have to experience the darkness for us to help anyone else through it. We rise as it burns down and it becomes ashes, and we rise out more aware and stronger than ever and fiercer in our goals. So they're saying something about trajectory. This is seeing your children. Imagine what those children are here to do. They are children of a chosen one, of an anointed one. The change they are about to bring into this world and the world they are going to create. What I heard is like, they're the paradise. They're the heaven on earth. They are kind of the saviors here. Weird, eh? Not weird though. Because how many of us can say our kids, they kind of saved us a little bit, right? Raising children can have a very profound healing effect on yourself as well. And we have the Seven of Swords that have come through. Because to me, this is also like self-deception. This is lies. This is staying trapped in old mindsets. Because this is this beautiful swan has 6 swords around. It can back up, but it's being guarded down here. This is like somebody guarding the truth. But I feel like as well, like the purity of this swan, why it takes, and again I heard warfare, it's because this swan is so pure that it takes all of these to hold it back. It's not afraid of you and a dagger, right, or this guy and the dagger. It knows it's majestic, and it knows it's pure, and it knows it's magic. And I think that it's almost like, to me, this looks like the swan with the arms open too. I know it's upset, but this feels like a portal. Like the swan is pulling in. Happy May the 4th, by the way, guys. I was just thinking about like a force pull. It is pulling in this vortex in a way to get it out. Eventually, all lies will come to the surface. Eventually, what I heard is the truth needs to be protected and the truth needs to be told. Now, Spirit is also giving you, what I heard, truth in your dreams. Spirit, tell me about the Seven of Swords. Oh, the bottom is the Queen of Pentacles. Now, it's in the reverse, but that's a Virgo, Taurus, Capricorn. But I just feel like it's a very strong and powerful individual. However, at this point, because this death and transformation thing is happening, they may not feel that way, but it will come. So we have the Six of Wands here, which is awesome. This is victory. Changes around the corner. Those things that you've been waiting for, they are coming. You have fought through the Five of the Wands, where it's at that point of just chaos. You've climbed up and you've become victorious. The next step is in balance. That harmonious, victorious period. We have the Ten of Swords here, so this could be, what I heard is a conversation for some of you for sure. This is thoughts as well. This is just, with this victory, becomes this balance where these thoughts are being released and they're freed. Whatever this this issue is, it's being put to rest. And for some of you, what I heard is there's lies, or, again, like with trauma bonding, that situation, once we realize what it is, we're stopping the trend of bad relationships, because what we're expecting in our partners and how we communicate is a lot different going on further. But we have here the Star in reverse, we have the Empress in reverse, and we have the King of Cups in reverse. And funny that you've got, so this is the Queen of Pentacles, but having this here as well, I just feel like it's because there's blocks. There's a major block here. I believe this is you rising up, coming from that Death card to this wonderful, beautiful Empress. For many of you, this is your children. Like you have children, and this is fertility for some of you, okay? But for a lot of you, this is, you have so much to offer this world. You're going to transform it more than you could ever imagine. And I feel like for some of you, again, what's stopping that is those insecurities. The Star is wish fulfillment. But if we don't take the step past the insecurities, we can't get the wish fulfillment. It's kind of like with this King of Cups being in reversed, if he holds all his emotions in, and he doesn't become vulnerable, and he doesn't become open, and he doesn't lead with and follow his heart, he can't get the Empress, if that's what he's looking for. Because she's leveled up. I heard she's changed her habits. She's shown herself grace, and she's followed her goals, and she has become incredibly powerful and has become very, very aware. I heard the word spiritual powerhouse for some of you. Tell me about this King of Cups. Thank you. All right. So the King of Cups, you have the High Priestess in the reverse. I do feel like this particular person, he will ignore signs that he gets, or internal cues. Like if he feels his intuition at all, like it's not saying this person is not intuitive, but I don't feel like they're following the guidance that Spirit is giving. Because at this point, it's out of fear, okay? It really is out of fear. I feel like because they have to tell the truth. They have to finally tell the truth. So you have here, reflect on your priorities. Focus on you, beauties. Focus on you. Reflect on your priorities. Where have they been in the past? Is this fulfilling you? Is this happy, making you happy? Where have your successes been? Where have your failures? What can you learn? What are you most proud of yourself for? And I also want you to also let go of this idea of perfectionism, because that's what holds us back too. And we have this new moon in Aries. Go for it. Let go of the perfectionism. Let go of the insecurities and go for it. That's what I have for you, my loves. I love, 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 love you from the bottom of my heart. For all my subscribers, big shout out to you guys as well. And if you're new to my channel, hey, thanks for stopping by. It was nice having you along. And if you want to see more, please hit subscribe. Join this journey with me, because I'd love to have you here with me and encounter your energy more often. So, mwah, I wish you the best of luck in this. My friends, rise, because all of the things that were meant to take you down have only helped you rebuild and become this radiant, fiery being. Bye, guys.